This is for everyone telling me, oh, you wear the same hat in your videos every day. Let's start today's video. We're just gonna put these back on the shelf. This took a turn. I listened to a YouTube video of Adobe Moto, and I want to try it. By the way, if you guys don't know who Adobe Moto is, go watch his stuff. A little bit of salt. That's not bad. It's raining in California like crazy for the past 3 days, and my chain on my pit bike is extremely rusty. You never want to let a chain or a sprocket get this rusty because it's just going to mess up your riding. Like, that sprocket looks like someone just painted it orange. It's still kind of windy in here, so we're going to roll this in the garage. We're going to have to work in this garage, though, because there's absolutely no room in here to fit another bike. Still water leaking out of all the covers from the rain, and it stopped raining 2 days ago. You guys do wonder why I don't do any like working videos on the 140. This bike has no problems. It's hard to work on something that has no problems. The pit bike, on the other hand, it has a lot of problems. First, we have to take off the side panel, which we're going to use our 5/16 socket for with our wrench. Off, your front sprocket is going to be exposed. Now we're going to grab our 7/16 wrench and our bolt magnet holder. Now for this part, you're going to want to put your bike in gear, because when you're loosening it, your bike is going to roll forward and then you're just going to drop your bike. This bolt just won't give me a break. I've been trying for like the past 7 minutes and I cannot get this bolt loose. I'm going to try a smaller wrench. I just don't want to strip the bolt. We finally got it off. I used a 10mm wrench. So I don't know why, but the 7/16 wrench worked perfect on the other bolt, but I just couldn't get it loose. This wrench is obviously a little bigger. The 10mm wrench, as you can see, it's thicker. As where the 7/16, it's more narrow inside. So I guess if your bolts are really stuck, go for a thicker wrench like a 10mm. But if your bolts are loose, go for a 7/16. I have blood on my bike from scratching up my hands. This bolt just wouldn't let me win. So now that your front sprocket bolts are off, you should be able to just pop this off. You're gonna have to twist it. There you go. And then your front sprocket should come off just like that. Our last step is to take off our chain guard with an Allen wrench. So you guys, don't think I'm stupid. I know that some bikes have master links, and all you have to do is take out the master link and just pull out the chain. Not a lot of people have bikes with the master link. There's chains that don't have master links. That's why I'm doing this method, because there's a lot of people that have that exact same bike, which I find really funny. So that's why I'm doing this method, because a lot of SSRs don't have master links on their chains, unless you get a new one from Amazon or something. So if you guys don't have one of these, please get them, so that way you're not looking through 10 to 15 Allen wrenches. Just get this, it's way easier to look through. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop every one of these out and I'm gonna fit them. Oh, look at that. And it was the first one. have to be extremely delicate with your chain when you take it off the bike, and I'm gonna tell you why in a minute. I want you guys to go on Google right now and search up a picture of a tangled chain. A couple months ago, when I took off this chain to clean it because of the rain, I tangled up my chain and I got so frustrated. It took me about 20 to 30 minutes and a lot of YouTube tutorials on how to untangle a chain. It doesn't matter if it's a chain for a dirt bike, a chain for a Harley, a chain for a bicycle, it does not matter. Untangling chains suck. Please be delicate with your chain and make sure that it's straight at all times. To clean our chain, we're gonna get a rag. And then you're gonna wanna need some WD-40. Now, there is a certain type of spray that is used specifically for cleaning chains. Why go out and go spend the 30 bucks on it? WD-40 is just as good. Now that we have our WD-40 on, all we're gonna do is just wipe it across, just like this. Repeatedly, literally just until it's gone. But look how much stuff is already coming off. Another reason why we took the chain off the bike instead of cleaning the chain while it was on the bike is so that way we could get in every little crack and crevices of the chain. Also, we have to clean the sprocket as well. So when we bought this chain a couple years ago, this chain was actually gold. This chain is now yellow. We're going to try as hard as we can to get the color back on the chain. Okay, now we're going to put the chain on its side and we're going to spread it apart. Now we're going to clean the inside of the chain. Just like that. Look at this chain. Now, obviously, it's not the cleanest, but look at the outside of this chain. Look how much rust we got off. I'll see if I can pop up a before and after picture of what the chain looks like now and what it looked like before. Look at this. And if we look at our rag, this is how much rust we got off. But we're not done yet. Now we have to go do our sprocket. Now our front sprocket doesn't have a lot of rust, but we're still gonna clean it because we have it off the bike. Look at that. Now it's time for the worst part. This whole thing is orange. It literally looks like it's just painted. Now cleaning the sprockets is definitely gonna take time and a lot of patience. I just spent the past 15 minutes trying to clean the rear sprocket, and this is the best I could do. Now, with how much rust was built up on this, it's going to take real spray to get this off. But with the front sprocket and the chain, all you needed was WD-40. It definitely does look better. And I don't ride this bike a lot, so I'm not too worried about it. It definitely does look better. But it's not the best. But again, the reason why I'm not too worried about it, I don't ride that bike a lot. But we got a decent amount of rust off. Again, I'll see if I can pop up a before and after picture, but I'm actually really happy with the way this turned out. But this chain, golly, way better than what it looked like before. All right, now we're going to put everything back on the bike, which I don't need to record because it's literally just the same process, just in reverse. All right, she's all put together. Garage door's cracked open. Let's start her up. This is my 2008 Kawasaki KLX 140. I've had this bike for a little over a year now, but sadly, this is my last season with this bike. This bike is going to be sold in either May or June of this year, but am I going to miss this bike? I don't know. If you don't know, it's an electric start bike. There's a lot of mixed opinions about these bikes. Here's my opinion and 5 reasons why I think you should not get an electric start dirt bike. Now, I'm not saying this bike was awful just because it was an electric start bike. There are a lot of pros and cons about electric start bikes. Are there more cons than there are pros? Maybe. This was and is my very first electric start bike. I didn't know what to expect. I wanted to try something new. I have my opinion on it. Will my next bike be an electric start bike? No, it won't. Here's 5 reasons why not to get an electric start bike. Starting off with number 1, the most obvious thing, a battery in a bike is going to add you about 10 to 15 pounds of weight on your bike, which means it's going to be harder if you crash and you have to pick it up. It's also harder to jump, or if you want to learn how to wheelie, it's extremely hard to do so on heavy bikes. Number 2 is you have to worry about this. You hear that sound? That's the sound of you being a moron and leaving on your key and your battery dies while you're out on the track. The bike isn't actually dead. But there has been several, and I mean several times, the bike is dead because I leave the key on like an idiot. Number 3, you gotta be gentle with her. That sounded weird. For those who don't know, I love riding in the mud. My dad doesn't, but I do. One of my favorite things about riding dirt bikes. But when you have electric start dirt bikes, you could do it, but not really. This is my dad's 2008 KX250, and these are the wires that are behind the number plate. Now, look at the wires that are behind my number plate. That is a whole contraption filled with wires. For those who don't know, wires and water doesn't really mix. I did a mud riding video a while back, and 2 days later, I didn't ride the bike. I finally started the bike again to go ride it, and the bike would not start. A bunch of water got in the wires that are connected to the kill switch, and whenever I would flip it to run and I would go start the bike, it just wouldn't start. Unless you would flip it off, flip it back on, and then you would go start it again. And also, while I was riding on the street, since there was water messing with the kill switch and the wires, the bike would randomly shut off and my brakes would lock up. Not the best idea. I don't know what number we're on, but money. These are expensive. Holy shit. Electric start dirt bikes are crazy expensive. This is a 2008, and we got this bike for a little over $2,000. $2,000. That's crazy. And also, oh, you got ripped off. Shut up. This bike was gifted to me. I had no idea I was getting this bike. This was a surprise. I walked into my garage and there was a freaking Kawasaki waiting for me. But while my dad and mom were looking for a bike for me to ride, this was the cheapest bike out there that was not all banged up. If we were to buy an electric start Kawasaki for like $1,000, it probably had no tires, no wheels, no suspension, probably had no handlebars either. But is kickstart better than electric start? Yes, it is. So that answers your question. Will I miss this bike when it's gone? Not really.